Hey guys, I know you've missed this first part. So, Charlie, why do Wookiees have so much hair?
I don't know, Jimmy.
For protection. You've
I
missed it.
I
You've
don't know
missed it.
if I can dignify you with a reaction.
Yeah, I haven't missed it. You go, Sydney and I'll do the episode.
Wanna buy some death stick? Roger, roger.
Jedi.
That's not a moon. It's a space station.
Always a pleasure to meet you.
And my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy!
You failed, Your Highness. I'm a Jedi.
Hello, explorers, and welcome to episode 102, where the boys are back in town and Star Wars chat is going down. In today's episode, the boy will recap his memories from Celebration, and at the end of the show, we're going to go over the Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary. What the heck? Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and leave us a rating if you like what you're hearing. Now then, Jimmy, how have you been? Because goodness me, it's been a time.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm suffering from post-celebration blues, I think. And a lot of that has to do more with the jet lag from Japan. And we were talking about it this morning when we woke up. And I never sleep in. I mean, you guys know my schedule. I get up at 4:30 every
Mhm.
day. I go to work. I work until whatever. And I have long days, which is fine. I'm used to it. I slept until almost noon today. And so I was like, damn. Hopefully I'm recovered. I'm excited. I got to go see Revenge of the Sith last night. Um, and you got to come back from Celebration. Just a lot. Like I think overwhelming. Then you had to come back to the real world. And that's like a punch in the face. I don't know if anyone knows that, but when you go on vacation and you don't think about anything else but Star Wars and fun vacation things, then you come back and go to work. That sucks. So, but other than that, I've been good. Lots of good things. It's good to be back, see the family, talk to the family, things like that, and see my students and my swimmers. But yeah, I've been good. How about you, Sid? How's your, from your awesome? First off, I want to say great job last week, ladies. Before I pass it off, I want to say great job last week um, on episode 101. Loved it. Laughed. You guys haven't listened to it, you go out, you got to listen to it. It might be the best episode of Explore the Force. So check it out.
Yeah.
Sid, how have you been?
I've been great. I've been reeling in the post episode 101 glow as well as the post Star Wars Celebration glow. Um like even though I wasn't there, I was still able to be a nice, good, big part of some Star Wars and still enjoy it. And to be honest, it's really kept me going this week. I really needed that Star Wars push. It's been really great. But Charlie, how have you been? How have you been this week?
Oh my goodness, I'm doing good. As you can see, the background is a little bit different. Anyone who's been watching for a while knows that if I'm here, I'm at my parents' for a few days. So that's been nice to see my mum and my dad and the dog. Obviously, I would bring her on camera, but she's fast asleep. I'm doing all right. It's been a busy week, but I'm excited and I'm really excited for this episode actually. So let's head over to Force Encounters.
For my ally is the Force.
All right, I will get us started this week. I've had one or two Force encounters in the last few days. I don't know if you guys have known that or not. Celebration, which we're going to talk about. I want to dive into that. Revenge of the Sith, we're going to talk about. And so, really, I've been just kind of going through stuff from our trip and then still reading Into the Light by, I think, Claudia Gray. And I haven't gotten as far as Taylor. It's probably killing Taylor because we always talk back and forth about things that are happening. But yeah, that's been really good. Another High Republic book. It's getting sad because we're getting close to the end. So I find myself, I don't know if you guys do this too, when you're binging a TV show or you're reading a series and you know it's about to come to an end, you kind of slow down as you're
Mhm.
steamrolling towards the finish line. So I'm kind of like just cherishing the moments of enjoying all these amazing authors' books and stories. And you know, I do gotta get it finished though because May the 5th, I believe, the Acolyte, the Wayseeker comes out. So we will, So we'll chat about that a little bit later. But yeah, it's good Force encounters. You know, you would think that after Celebration and all that, would be kind of done with it for a while, but it just kind of fired me up. So, how about you, Charlie? Any cool Force encounters?
So, whilst there's been nothing specifically Star Wars this week, I am going to have to say I'm still absolutely like reeling after Andor.
Oof.
I've gone back and watched the 3 episodes again. I feel like there's even more that I've seen and kind of interpreted and understood from it. I'm absolutely obsessed. If anything, I'm tempted to go back and watch season 1 again in like one sitting, and then it. I'm just absolutely Andor obsessed. The Andor brain rot is so intense right now.
I believe it.
Sid,
I mean,
it's intense. Really, really intense. Sydney, I'm assuming you're feeling the same. How are you doing? What was your Force encounter this week?
So, apart from being invited back onto this wonderful, wonderful podcast, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you, fans.
Fans.
It really does. It has to be Andor. I mean, it's been unbelievable to be spoiled the way we have been with 3 episodes a week. Like these complete finished arcs each week it's a different format, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And it's nice to have the Star Wars Celebration afterglow, like I mentioned earlier, and not have to deal with any of the jet lag, but still reap all of these rewards almost immediately. Yeah, I feel very lucky to be a Star Wars fan right now. But that's it for me. I think we should head over to Batu for the news.
The people in this crowd will soon be among almost 40,000.
For those who are among the 900 with news media or promotional tickets, this sneak preview probably will be the only chance to see the Empire Strikes Back.
Guys, it's been a crazy week. Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith, little film you might have heard about, maybe, possibly. It has shown long-lasting appeal by reaching a whopping $42.2 million at the global box office this weekend. So, George Lucas, enjoy all of that extra cash in your back pocket because we are happy to give it to you. The Force is extremely strong with Revenge of the Sith, I feel. This weekend, 2 decades, I feel old. After its initial theatrical release, Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith has proved its lasting audience appeal by taking in an estimated $42.2 million at the box office. It was re-released on Friday in celebration of its 20th anniversary. It made $25.2 million domestically, and it took the number 2 spot at the box office. It played in 2,775 domestic theatres and was shown in several formats for the first time in 4DX. No clue what that is, but great. Outside of the US, it was played in select theatres with many, many markets, including Germany, where it hit number 1. Thank you, Germany. France, Spain, the UK, Australia, Brazil, and Mexico, on its way to an estimated 17 million internationally. I would also like to point out, prior to this weekend specifically, Revenge of the Sith had already earned 850 million globally.
I would like that money. I would
Yeah.
like some of that money.
Yes, please. I mean,
George,
yeah,
you're listening.
850 million globally, and then it's just awesome to see, you know, people my age when we went and saw it the first time. Just the fact that it's still getting all this love is just awesome. You know, you think about Celebration. I think they said there's 125 countries represented at Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
So, to see it doing this, hitting number 1 in Germany, things like that, hitting number 2 in the US, and there's a lot of good movies out right now. There's, you know, some competitive films, especially for a film that, you know, it's been out for a minute or two. So that's pretty, I mean, kudos to Star Wars and its staying power. So that's exciting. But I want to paint a picture for you guys, though. Now imagine you go into the theater and just happen to be at the El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles, right? On a Friday, maybe opening night. Technically Thursday's opening night, but we'll get into that. And you're sitting there getting ready for the movie to play, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, wait a minute, we got something." And you're like, "What is going on? Boo! We want the movie." and out walks Hayden Christensen and Samuel L. Jackson. They surprised the fans at the special 20th anniversary screening for Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Christensen took to the stage at the historic Hollywood Cinema while wielding a red lightsaber, telling the crowd that he had so many amazing memories of making the final Star Wars prequel, in which Anakin Skywalker embraces the dark side as he becomes Darth Vader and aids Palpatine in his hostile takeover of the Galactic Republic. I see a lot of lightsabers out here, Christensen said to the audience. I see a lot of red lightsabers, which, truth be told, is my personal favorite lightsaber color. Imagine losing your mind. You're already pumped and excited to see, this movie that's amazing. And probably most people's favorite, a lot of people's favorite film. And then out walks two of the biggest stars, and Hayden's beloved. I wouldn't say he's a big star anymore in the fact that like Samuel L. Jackson's a big star because he's never really ever stopped. But how would you guys have reacted? I would have just probably passed out.
Exactly. I would have fainted. I would have slid out of my chair onto the sticky popcorn covered floor in an absolute fit of shock and horror. I wouldn't have been able to cope. Just that's Anakin Skywalker and Mace Windu. What?
I feel like my reaction, I think I'd do one of those things where you kind of have no reaction and you stonewall it, and then it's like maybe about an hour into the film and you're like, oh my god, those guys on the screen, they were just in front of us, like for real. Like they were there. I get really starstruck for like the smallest of people, to be honest. So I can't even fathom like actual Hayden Christensen and Samuel L. Jackson stood in front of me and just being like, hey, enjoy the film, by the way. See you later. I think there's just no reaction that would be worthy enough of that interaction whatsoever.
That's fair. That's fair for sure.
There's this gorgeous photo on the Star Wars social media of Hayden and Samuel L. Jackson, and their backs are to the crowd in the cinema, and they've got their lightsabers, and all you can see in the background from the people who are there to watch the film is just a sea of lightsabers, red, green, purple, blue, and it's just absolutely beautiful. What is it with Star Wars fans? Why must we carry our lightsabers with us everywhere we go just in case?
What's funny is that one thing I thought was missing from Star Wars Celebration was lightsabers, right? Because every time I've been to one, it's been mostly, the UK is not that hard to get to, and then the other two have been in the States. Thousands of lightsabers, and it really was. It's surprising how much you miss them whenever they're not there. But yeah, taking some weapons into the movie.
Now, we're taking a little backseat from Revenge of the Sith for a second, and I think we might have a clip to show as well. Revealed it has been why Master Yoda talks back to front in Empire. George Lucas revealed at a special screening of Episode 5 why he made the decision to have Yoda speak in his particular way. If you speak regular English, people won't listen that much, but if he had an accent or it's really hard to understand what he's saying, they focus on what he's saying. He was basically the philosopher of the movie. I had to figure out a way to get people to actually listen, especially 12-year-olds.
Yes. So here's the maker himself at a special event. I think it was this past weekend. So I'll just play this for everybody real quick.
Why does Yoda speak backwards?
Well, I will tell you.
Okay, thank you.
Yoda had a very distinctive way of talking and it was done purposely because if you were speaking regular English people don't listen that much. But if he has an accent or it's really hard to understand what he's saying, they focus on what he's saying. And what he was basically the philosopher of the movie. Right. So he was talking about all of the things, in long talking scenes and stuff where I had to figure out a way to get people to actually listen, especially 12-year-olds.
So you were worried that if he just said it regularly, it would be boring and kids wouldn't listen.
That's right.
So you're just like, I'll just switch some words around.
You're hired.
Oh, fantastic. Well, it seems to have worked out.
Yeah, I would say it worked out. Whoop, where'd we go? There we are.
There we are.
Yeah, so there's the maker himself. That interview is up. It's a courtesy of TCM on YouTube. If I can remember with my jet lag, I will put the link for that full, I think it's 25 minutes. I think they've cut some things out of it, though, because it was weird watching it. They'd ask a question, then they would be like answering something else. I will say this, and I know it's not in our notes or anything like that, but George sounds like he's getting old. I mean, I think he's close to 80, right? Or he is 80.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, it's like, when you're watching your parents get old and stuff like that too. It's the first time I've listened to him talk where it hasn't been like smooth, and I don't know. I may just be imagining things, but it seems like maybe his age is catching up to him, because I saw some things where people talked about why is Celebration in Los Angeles, blah, blah, blah. And someone pointed out, well, it's only a 4-hour car ride from where George Lucas is at, or a quick helicopter ride. So that got me to think, like, when we'll talk about it later, like who might come. And I think the 50th anniversary in Los Angeles is going to be bonkers. But check out that whole, the whole video. It's really kind of funny. It talks about his beginnings, and, him and Francis Ford Coppola coming up together, and some funny stories there as well. And then I didn't get a chance to talk about Andor yet. So I got this. I found this, obviously, like we said, the news has been hard to find this week outside of Return of the Jedi and Andor. But Tony Gilroy has come out and said, like, why he has this dancing scene. And I don't know about you guys. I've seen a lot of people mad about some of the stuff you guys talked about on the show. And some people mad about, like, they feel like Mon Mothma's character from Return of the Jedi is being disrespected by this dancing scene. And there's some spoilers for episode 3 from season 2. If you haven't watched it yet, just clip forward about 2 or 3 minutes. But Tony, basically, I'm gonna summarize it. He goes, everyone has an outlet except for Mon Mothma, right? And she will become the face of the rebellion and everything. And she's, in the fishbowl idea where everyone's always watching her and she can't really act. If you watch that first opening scenes of her walking through her Chandrilla place, she's smiling when she sees people. As soon as she gets away from those people, she's sad and she's frowning. I mean, I think people are missing these nuances. Listening to a lot of reviews, people are definitely missing some of this good, amazing acting. But he says that she is serving, she's serving up her daughter in this moment. She is losing her childhood best friend, and she's just basically had enough. And she's just like, I can't do it anymore. And she needs that outlet. So, I mean, I kind of assumed that from watching it. I don't know why it needed to be explained for people, but there has been some backlash from a few things in episode 3 that I'm kind of flabbergasted by. I mean, knowing how season 1 of Andor went, I don't know why people weren't expecting. And we've seen her dancing in clips for a month.
Yeah.
Right? And no one said anything.
Is a problem.
People just want to complain and find a reason to complain about stuff, I think. But I thought this was really good, and it's really kind of creative, because even Luthen gets to go and be somebody else when he needs to be. And Mon never gets a break. So that's kind of where that dance scene came from. He really wanted to let her let loose. It may be the last time we see her actually be able to just, have no inhibitions, I guess. She's probably gonna have a hell of a hangover tomorrow, but
she was throwing those shots back with no struggle whatsoever.
I wonder if there's a Chandrillan equivalent to the full English for a hangover, a fry up.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Gotta be. We'll find out. Well, I guess it'll be a year later once we come back next week. So, what did you guys think about that scene? I mean, did it bother you guys at all? It totally made sense to me, like why she was doing what she was doing. But I don't know. I just don't understand all the pushback I've seen on social media.
Something I've really enjoyed in the last couple of Star Wars seasons, I think we had examples of it in Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, Acolyte, is this introduction of like ritual and dance and performance and music in ways that you wouldn't necessarily expect, because Star Wars has a lot of tribal culture that it explores like ideas and concepts behind. And I think, especially with Chandrilla being such a uptight, haughty, excessive, to see her, because she wasn't even dancing in the circles with everybody else. She was in and out between people. She was dancing to her own beat and her own rhythm. Dance like nobody's watching Mon Mothma. We love to see it. And I think it's just beautiful to me. I don't understand how you couldn't be absolutely enchanted by that. And quite honestly, as when I used to go to the club back at many years ago, when you're that drunk and you've had that many shots, you do dance like a little bit of a lunatic. It's fine. It's so okay. And yeah, like people say that I think there's a lot of nuance has been missed in this season. Like people are taking it at very, very face value, and a lot of the criticism that's coming out is really unfounded, in my opinion.
I have to say, I think episode 3 in general, right? It was absolutely fantastic. Like all of it was absolutely fantastic, but the stuff with Bix, which I know you guys went over not long ago, was incredible. And then paralleled with Mon Mothma's dancing scene it adds like just a whole new context and a new flavor of like just different characteristics and the different things that people at different levels are going through. Because yeah, one might be like sort of, I hate to put it this way, one might be more traumatic than the other, which I'm sure we can all sort of guess which one is. But it doesn't mean that Mon Mothma's not absolutely going through it. Like she looks like she's having a great time, but I think we can all see she is quite literally spinning out. She's about to crash, like seriously.
She needs a mosh pit.
Yeah, really. I would love to mosh with Mon Mothma. That would be so good. I feel like all my worries would be Mosh Mothma. Make it happen, Tony Gilroy, please. I'm begging.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm just curious what you guys thought about it. I feel like the show's getting some unfair, and I don't usually I like when I want people to have this is the last thing I'll say. I want people to have their own opinions on stuff, but when it's uneducated and unthoughtful, I'm just going to dismiss it from this moving forward. Like it's like, what do you like? What? I just look at things a little bit deeper, use your brain a little bit, and then if you still don't like it, that's fine. But don't just say stupid things and try to get a reaction out of people. But yeah, I think that's it from the news.
I think so too. Shall we head on over into our main show?
Sounds good to me.
Welcome to the main show, everybody. And I know we did a whole breakdown of the Star Wars Celebration panels, but Jimmy is here and we've also had some wonderful responses from our fans. So I'm going to kick us off with those. We asked on our Facebook group, Explore the Force, if you're not a part. We have a very fast growing community of some super brilliant Star Wars fans. We asked, we want to know your top moments from Star Wars Celebration for people who went, people who didn't go. And I'm going to start us off good with mine and Sydney's good friend Matt said the Maul series for sure. Never thought we would get a show just about Maul, but so glad that we are. Sam Witwer deserves it so much. I agree 100%. Scott Caswell said Hayden Christensen when he walked in and the applause he got was spine tingling. Isn't it wonderful? This was very much the same experience at Celebration London. I think the poor lad cried. He was so overwhelmed by how this crowd was just screaming for him. So I love that he got the same reception at Celebration Japan as well. Darren Briscoe said, I really enjoyed the sidekick panel. That's not one I actually got to catch up with. It was truly informative and moving, and the crowd and those on stage gave Anthony Daniels flowers. How lovely. Dave Filoni also spilled some of the beans on Ahsoka Series 2 and the General Akbar Thrawn showdown. Super exciting. Also, I want that. Darren says that he wants that outfit that Pedro Pascal was wearing on the first day as my next cosplay. Where are those boots from? Give me them. Sydney, would you like to read yours out?
Okay, my special one. Yeah, I know we spoke about this last week, but it's something that I genuinely can't stop thinking about. I've been watching Game of Thrones. No spoilers from season 5, please. We're on season 5. But I've been watching Game of Thrones, and Rory McCann as Balon Skull, like the photos were absolutely incredible. I was expecting, I don't know, just not that. I was expecting like a really kind of half bothered sort of like cast photo that like nobody was really able to make out what was what. But no, those photos really meant a lot to me. And from what I was told, they were excuse me, they were super respectful with Rory McCann's Balon casting. I think he asked like the family, and he made sure like he was doing it properly and going about everything correctly, which is really nice to hear.
Yeah, Dave got choked up when he talked about that, and then he talked about Ray having it. It was all in Ray's eyes, and he said that Rory can delivers the same thing from his eyes, and so I'm pretty excited for it. I mean, I don't think if they hadn't found Rory or someone that they weren't going to do it. from the sounds of
Mm.
like Dave's interviews. So I thought that was great. And yeah, episode, I think it's in season 5. The Hound gives some amazing when he was with Arya. He does some stuff where I was like, okay, this guy can do it, because he's just a brute in the first couple movie or seasons, but
Mm.
they kind of dive in to let him do some acting other than just kicking everyone's butt, and it'll blow you away towards the end. So be looking out for that.
Oh, I'm so excited.
We had Des Smith with a comment that said, "It's the Mole series for me. I was hoping to get a new series announced, but I did not expect this. I can't wait to find out more. The Starfighter reveal was awesome too. Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling coming to Japan for the announcement was really appreciated. They probably didn't have to do that. I think it shows that they understand what Celebration represents to the fans, and hopefully will not have as much secrecy around this movie compared with other projects. And finally, the announcement for 2027. I'm planning on attending this one, so it'll be a banger." We also had Wayne Cooper Smith, who said, "Ryan Gosling, Starfighter. I really, really hope this happens." And also had to be when a couple of podcast presenters we know kind of reunited after such a long time apart.
I wonder who
Jimmy,
that
I
could
need
be.
you to. I wonder who. Jimmy, I need you to know I have watched that video over all of those views on Instagram. That's me. That's me watching it and crying.
Yeah, we were trying to find a place to reunite. We didn't get necessarily the footage we wanted, but we made it work. But it was
Thing is,
fun.
what I love is I got the sneaky Jimmy and Jack selfie immediately followed by a message from Jack saying, "Don't you dare post this! Don't you dare! Do not post!" And I was like, "Okay, it's just for me."
I do have to ruin that though, because as soon as Charlie got it, I also got it. And I
feel
text Charlie back like, I'm actually in tears, like I'm crying over this photo.
I'm
You
crying.
just both look so happy.
It was awesome.
And our last comment is from Simon, who said, "Hearing Hayden will be back in Ahsoka, I think we were all utterly delighted for that piece of information, because how could you have season 2 Ahsoka without Hayden Christensen appearing again?"
Yeah, it's going to be vital, I think, in that role too, especially if they do what some of us think they're going to do. So we'll see.
Now, everyone else shut up, because Jimmy, you're back. You're back, and we missed you so, so much. Welcome back to your home turf. I hope the jet lag isn't killing you too much. And please tell us all about Japan.
My goodness. First off, I want to tip my hat to the Japanese people and culture. Like, we went there because of Celebration. But getting to be in Japan, like that, it was amazing. And the people were so friendly. Like, if you've been to other celebrations, and I'm not trying to knock on, you Brits or Americans or anything like that, but we don't have the patience that these Japanese people have, and then just the kind of their culture. And I only heard one person yell at somebody, and it was an American that was working there. So, they're patient, kind, understanding, helpful. Like if they thought you were lost, somebody would come up and ask you if you needed help immediately. Like it was blown away by the generosity. And then as soon as you opened your mouth and you couldn't speak English, it wasn't a roll of the eyes. They just reached over and they grabbed something so that was written in English, so you could just point to what you want. I mean, they just dealt with it, and it's like, you go to places and they're just like, ugh, an American or whatever, or, you don't speak our language. Most of them actually spoke English. It's just amazing. So first off, tip of the hat to the people in Japan. I was concerned about that trip, not speaking Japanese. I mean, I had heard all these great things about how great people were and how easy it was to navigate. But yeah, well done, Japan. Well done. Plus, their kids go to school for so long. It's impressive. I couldn't do it. I don't even know if I want to teach in Japan. Because we'd go on the train in the mornings, and those kids would be there at 7:00 in the morning going to school, and on our way home at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, they'd be coming home. I'm like, what the, that's a lot of school. It's more than I want to do. But yeah, so hats off, tip of the hat to those people, to the Japanese people and their culture and just how much it influenced. But yeah, I don't even know where to start, I guess. I mean, we got there, and I'll have to say that's probably my best Star Wars celebration, despite the nostalgia of Chicago. Things just kind of fell into our lap. It was different because I wasn't on the floor. I mean, I think I was on the main floor for maybe a total of 2 hours over the 3 days because I was doing so many different things. I didn't really get to see a lot, but we got in with, we managed to get in before everybody else. I don't really want to talk about how,
Yes.
but it wasn't anything. We didn't do anything wrong. So we got right in there. I got to see the floor. Like, you saw Jack's photos where he was sending
I
photos
did.
and there's nobody there, and we were getting to send photos and just getting a lot of photos and videos of things before the mad rush, and it was an absolute mad rush. Jack saw the Jedi VIPs come in, and they fell all over each other like a mad rush, like a bunch of wild animals. And then I got to see the main group of people come in when I was at the Hasbro store, and people were just crazy. I mean, it's bonkers. And but yeah, so the energy, the excitement for it was pretty awesome, and just honestly, I don't even know where to start. The day one was a blur because we got there, we got in early. We did all this stuff. We went and we saw the panel for what was the first panel. We got all that exciting news. We were there for the Mando and
Mando
Grogu.
and Grogu was the first
Yeah,
one, I
so we were
think.
there for the Mando and Grogu panel, and they had taken some inspiration from I don't know what all you could see from the cameras, when you're watching it online and stuff like that. But they had Taylor Swift wristbands. And so we'd all start lighting up green and blue and all these different things when we were in there. They didn't do that for any of the other panels. They just did it for that first one. That was kind of fun. I've never been part of something like that. It was good too, because like I said, that the lightsabers were missing because it is difficult to take a lightsaber 10, 12, 17 hours away. But that panel, the energy was through the roof. And I had met this man, and I cannot remember his name. And if you're listening to the guy that I met from Canada that we sat beside each other, please reach out. He had been to 12 celebrations, and this guy was fired up. That's one of the best things about Star Wars Celebration. Every time I got in line without, Molly was with me for a couple, but every time I wasn't not in line with somebody, I just made new friends. I met cousin Beth. Star Wars is a very small world. You can talk about that story later, but and then we met some people from other countries. It was amazing. And then sitting there, and he was just fired up. He wanted good news. He wanted good news, and he lost his mind when they announced Starfighter. So that was pretty awesome. Then we got to see the footage. Do you guys see the footage? They show the trailer of Mando and Grogu, or did they black it out?
No.
Okay, so they
They
showed us
cut
that
at that
twice.
point and went back to the main interview stage.
Yeah, so they showed us that twice, and that was pretty exciting. I will say my only negative from that panel was that Mando and Grogu look like a Disney Plus show. It doesn't look like a movie right now. I don't know if it's missing some of the. I mean, it doesn't come out until May, and I know that they're going to be working on it. May 2026, they'll be working on it and making things better. But that was my only concern. The action that they showed us was amazing. Getting to see Sigourney Weaver. I mean, the queen of sci-fi, really. Starting with Aliens. Aliens. One of my dad's favorite movies is Galaxy Quest. Have you guys ever seen that? Galaxy Quest.
I'm aware of it.
Kind of a spoof on Comic-Cons. It really starts out as a spoof on Comic-Cons, like a Star Trek type show where you should watch. If you haven't got a chance to watch Galaxy's Quest, it's a pretty funny Tim Allen film. Pokes fun at us a little bit for being nerds, but it's actually pretty heartfelt. So she's in that. She comes out with a great attitude. She loves Baby Yoda, Grogu, and they bring Grogu out, and he's all animated and stuff. That was pretty cool. And I think the Sean Levy thing and Ryan Gosling thing was to show hey, this is happening. We're here. We're going to be on stage for 5 minutes. We flew all the way to Japan for this. It's happening. And that's pretty exciting. We got no details whatsoever other than the fact that it's being made. It's past talking stages. That's kind of what Sean Levy said. And so that was super exciting. The place went nuts. The energy there. I'm trying to think of what else happened in that panel. It was all kind of a blur. It was only about 40 minutes long, which was kind of weird because usually that first panel is really long and kind of drawn out. Lots of news and things like that coming out. But I think maybe they have learned their lesson. They don't announce 47 things and then none of them come to fruition. We're still waiting on stuff from London. We're still waiting on stuff from Anaheim.
Might still be waiting a while.
D23 and all this thing. So I appreciated the fact that I think that was Mando and Grogu comes out, and then supposedly Starfighter comes out the next year. So it means they're getting ready. They've got the script. They're diving in. So that was pretty exciting. And then we went from that, we ran to do our own panel. Right. So that was pretty cool. I won't say that I wasn't nervous. It was pretty fun. It was a little intimidating. Jack went out there and rustled up some people, and we had, we expected Fantha Tracks. The gentleman from Fantha Tracks told us they'd come support us. So we expected like 3 people to be in there. We ended up with like 50 some, which was pretty fun and some good engagement afterwards. I will say that I can't teach sitting down though. It felt weird. The whole thing didn't feel good to me because like I was sitting down and not up by that board, like where I was showing all the photos and things like that. So lesson learned, next time I'm just going to stand up and do things my way. But other than that, it was really exciting, a lot of fun. People were really supportive, especially the guys at Fantha Tracks. They didn't need to come bother with us, and they were there. I mean, this is one of the biggest podcast YouTube groups in the world, and they came and supported us. That meant a lot. It was really sweet of them, and just their positivity towards us and the things like that. They're not bothered by us. In the fact that like they're not, I don't know, they just seem so. I'm going my little love fest for Fantha Tracks, but like they were just like excited to meet me, and I thought that was crazy, right? Like Mark Newbold was like, finally, Jimmy, and give me a big hug, and I don't know, it was just really kind of cool how warm and welcoming they were, and just how much support they've given us. So a huge shout out to those guys. Unfortunately, I didn't get to make it to their panel because one of us had to go to Visions, so I went to the Visions panel, and Jack went and covered their panel the last day. So, but yeah, so that was day 1. I think I can't remember what else we did. I felt like there's something else on day 1. I guess we did virtual Cantina's not so virtual Cantina event the night before, and that was pretty exciting. And that was one of the highlights for me too. Was that place was so packed. Like I don't know how we weren't in violation of fire codes. I mean, you could not move in there. And you had all kinds of people I didn't know, people I recognized from Rebel ScumCon were there. The people from Sabak for Charity were there. All these things. And they had some really impressive Star Wars talent back there. You could go get autographs and stuff like that. And I posted my photos of me with Kiriana. And I would say that one of the highlights of my week was when we came around the corner and she recognized Jack and I, and like she like lit up. And I mean, she's an actor, so maybe it was all an act, but I'm going to take it that she was legitimately excited to see us. We had been talking to her a little bit before we got there, and she was just lovely. Molly thought she was, an amazing young lady, just super nice. And just, she reiterated how much fun she had on our show. So that was exciting to hear her remember actually being on our show and doing stuff like that.
Oh.
And then what else did we do? We met a bunch of people. We exchanged a lot of swag. I gave Marty, I don't know if you guys have watched our interview. Marty really liked this mug. So I was able to get another one and give it to him. I got to reach out to him. He said he's going to send us some photos. So he was pretty excited about that mug because he's like, "Is this the mug?" And I was like, "It's the mug." And he like unwrapped it and stuff like that. So we'll get some photos of him with the mug when he gets back. But so that was pretty cool. And we went out, moved around, had some free food and some beverages. Didn't want to have too many beverages, obviously, because we had big day on day 1 the next day. And then we played some Sabak. I don't know if you guys ever actually played Sabak before.
No.
So it's a lot of fun.
When people explain the rules of a game to me, it's like that monkey that claps and spins. That's what happens. So I'm not sure Sabak is like the way for me to go.
See, I don't like card games. Now maybe it's because it's Star Wars, but the people from Charity of Sabak, and I can't, obviously my brain, I'm still kind of lagged, but I met them at Rebel ScumCon. We had talked about them coming on the show, and that kind of slipped through the cracks. So we're going to try to get them back on before Rebel ScumCon number 2 in August, but they teach it so well. They had these really hard chips. I felt like I was playing Star Wars Outlaws. I would like look to my side to see if Cave S was over there, right? So I was like, this is amazing. Like they had these really nice cards. They had these coins that you bet with when you're playing the game. And the way they explained it, I mean, all you're doing is trying to get to 0 on your cards. That was a lot of fun. Molly ended up smoking all of us. She's like, no, I've never played this game before. And she ended up destroying us. But that was a lot of fun. And then we got to meet Vader's girl, and she was awesome. She was so sweet. I just walked up to her, like, I love your stuff. Can I get a photo? And her and her husband were so nice. kept seeing them all the whole time, and we just would chat a little bit, ask them how things were going for them. It was a lot of fun. So we met a lot of fun people that night. So that was kind of like the night before and day one, all kind of wrapped up into one. So what did you guys like from like what
Yeah,
you
they're
saw
like.
online?
I think something I really enjoyed from what I saw was it was obviously like all the panels and things like it sounds horrible to say it like this, but all the usual stuff like all the announcements was great. Like great. But to be honest, seeing you and Jack with Kiriana and getting to see a little message that Kiriana sent to Charlie and it like I never mind Charlie, I was sobbing. I was like, "Oh my god, she's so sweet. She's like the sweetest girl ever." And she doesn't even she doesn't know who I am. I didn't interview her, but I was like, "Oh my god, like we're like all friends with Kiriana." I was like, I feel like I just could reach through the phone and give her a hug and say thanks. Hope to see you soon. And then yeah, to be honest, the your little your photo with Vader's girl made me so happy because I followed her for so long. I was like, no way, that's the actual Vader's girl. Like that's actually her.
She was
So
super, super sweet. I don't know what I expected. We've reached out to her before because I really want people to hear her story. Like I think, and I talked to her a little bit about it. Maybe I
it's
will word it down.
brilliant.
We'll find out. But yeah, I was just telling her, and then her and her husband were they were awesome. They were so friendly and so nice. And I don't think she understands like people really get a kick out of what she does.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
she thinks
it's
it's silly.
escalated
Yeah, it's just kind
after
of grown.
Celebration. Like there's this clip of Rosario Dawson speaking to Hayden Christensen and saying, "Oh, I saw the photo within the photo within the photo."
Yeah.
And she's talking about Vader's girl, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's crazy! Oh my god, I'd lose it. I would absolutely lose it." Sorry, I'm going on, Charlie.
No, they were just super lovely. I mean, just wonderful. Just like, and again, just so everyone's so friendly. So that's what I don't understand about all the hate. Like, I think that's one of the reasons I'm so kind of grumpy since I've been back. Is like, you come from a place of Star Wars Celebration where there's nothing but love for Star Wars, and even if people don't like something, they're not, bad words about it.
Yeah.
They're positive, like, oh, I don't care for this, but I like this part. And just being around that many people that love something that you love, there's just nothing like it. If you've never been to a celebration and you're listening to the podcast, if you have the opportunity, go to a celebration, go to Rebel Scum Con, go to a con, just, in general, you need to get out there and experience it. Charlie, what did you have a highlight from day one?
It had to be watching the panel. The panel that you and Jack did. I was so happy to. By this point, I was absolutely exhausted. I think it must have been about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning for me,
Yeah, it was late
and
too.
I was trying really hard to lock in for day one. And Taylor and I were messaging back and forth, like, "Where's the stream? I thought they were streaming it. Have you got it? Have you seen it? Is it up yet?" And immediately she was like, "It's up. It's on Facebook. It's on Facebook. Go, go, go!" And getting to sit there and watch the two of you do something so amazing and such a wonderful opportunity, and seeing that there were so many people there as well to support you just made my heart so full and so happy, like genuinely, regardless of the news, the announcements, the celebrities. It had to be the Explore the Force panel. Not that I'm biased.
Honestly, I was glad when it was over. I felt like I could finally breathe when we were done. And then, of course, as a teacher, I was like nitpicking everything. But yeah, I thought it was really an amazing experience. I just hope we get to do more of those things as we grow. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, so it was an exciting day. Day one was like an absolute blur. And that wasn't even the busiest day, to be honest with you, because we got back, going into day two with both those big panels. We had the Andor panel. I think that was first. Yeah, because Molly and I were together for that one. So we got in line for we got there just in time, get in line for Andor. That's the thing too, is honestly on Saturday, I don't think I was on the floor at all. I just went from panel to store, back to panel. I was exhausted. We went and met people. Oh, and then we went to a baseball game, which I can talk about. Yeah, so we got into that Andor panel, and that was pretty hype. People, I mean, they're just loving that, love season one. And again, all the positivity. I don't think when we met, I'm trying to think if we met people online, because Molly and I were, just chatting with everyone around us and giving out stickers and things like that. And the energy there was pretty great. And then, of course, they're like, all right, we're going to show you. I thought we were going to get like a clip or a trailer that hadn't been shown that they were going to. And they're like, no, you guys are going to watch the very first episode. And I was like, wait, what? And so we got to watch the very first episode on a giant screen with thousands of Star Wars fans. And if you haven't watched episode 1 of season 2 of Andor yet, it's pretty action packed at the beginning. So to see that on a massive screen with great sound, I was like, well, this is how this day is going to start. So where do we go from here? And that was super exciting. And the energy and the love, and listening to Diego Luna speak about Star Wars and Star Wars fans and being part of it. I mean, it's like listening to Favreau and Filoni talk, just their excitement and their energy. So it was a lot of fun. Super energetic. Everyone's loved being part of that. The actors that play Cyril and Daedra were really funny about all the staring that they do. So it's just great first panel. And then to get to cap it off with seeing the first episode, knowing we had to wait a few days to finish off that arc. But I think that's one thing people were forgetting about, because remember how frustrated you would get at Andor when it would just like cut and it was done and you're like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've noticed, and when you rewatch it, season 2, it still does that. It just, you have another episode, so it's not so bad. But yeah, it was amazing. Then we got to we did that. We got to the store, which was bonkers. They had some great designs. I didn't have time to order a shirt like I wanted, because I needed to get out of there and get over to the next panel, which was the Ahsoka panel. But we got in there, got some stuff. Spend the money like you will, and come on, I'm not gonna buy anything. And I mean, my wife is a Tetris master. The fact that she got everything home unbroken, undented. I mean, everything, boxes. I mean, she packs stuff like she just needs to retire and become a professional packer for people at Comic Cons, because outstanding job to Molly for that. And then we got to go in the Ahsoka panel. Now that's where I met cousin Beth. It was so weird. I'm sitting there talking to this lady because Molly was in a different side stage and I was in the main stage again. She graciously let me have that ticket and we flipped so I could be there. And I met this woman named Beth, and she's like, oh, my cousin's this and this, and in Star Wars. And we were talking. I was like, oh yeah, because we're talking Ewoks. I'm like, well, I've met the only Ewok not from California. And she goes, you mean my cousin Kendra? And I was like, what? And so Kendra Waldall, who we've talked about, and she will be coming on the show, and I can't remember, we talked a little bit online. The only Ewok not to be from California that was in Return of the Jedi. And I'm just chatting with her cousin, who, just having this fun conversation, and we talked the whole time through, and she was really fun to talk to, and all of her experiences and things like that. But then of course we got the Ahsoka panel, which was awesome. The whole stuff with Rey, because everyone knows I'm a big Baylan Skoll fan. Just one of my favorite characters. I don't know why. I know why. It's amazing to me, the writing for that character. And then I had my reservations about them bringing someone in, and what we talked about earlier, Sid, the Rory McCann, recasting. I think it's going to work. I hope it works. I think that it will. But seeing Dave, I mean, he was like dreading talking about that. And if you haven't watched that panel, you really should, because you can see how much love Dave has for Star Wars and for the people that he works with. And I mean, he was like, this is the part I didn't really want to talk about, and gets all choked up. And then, he recovers, and he showed us, eventually he showed us this trailer of sorts. It was really weird because he has they were leaving. That was Saturday. They were leaving Celebration, and then they were going to start filming on Friday. So they've started filming in I think Pinewood on Friday, past. So you're listening to this on a Tuesday. It would have been the last Friday they actually started the filming for Ahsoka season 2. So they had no footage, but they showed us some photos, some models. I didn't want to get in trouble with, taking photos and things like that. But some of it looked really, really amazing. And then they showed us this really quick trailer and more artwork and more scenes from models and things like that. And it just, I think it's going to be amazing. I think they're going to really ramp things up. It looks like it's going to be really lore heavy, and that's going to probably make some fans really mad, and some fans are going to love it. I mean, I guess everything makes some fans really mad, and some fans love it. But yeah, so to have 2 panels like that in one day, because usually it's a 4-day event, you have one big panel each day. But that was like overload for me personally. I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't even know what to think, where to. My brain was swirling, and honestly, I can't remember anything after that for that one. Then we went to a baseball game, and that was nuts because I don't really like baseball that much. But my sister and my brother-in-law came with us to sell it to Japan. So then Molly because Molly usually only goes one day with me. So they went and they did touristy stuff. Well, my brother-in-law, Austin, he's a huge baseball guy. And, you know, Tokyo Giants and all this stuff. So we were like, all right, let's go to a game. I'm like, that'd be cool. It's a different experience. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I don't really care for baseball. Like I mean, I appreciate the athleticism and the sport, but I don't want to watch it most of the time. I would go watch baseball on a weekly basis if I lived in Japan. Every single person there was in a jersey or a hat supporting their team. When their team was up to bat, they chanted and cheered like you were at an English Premier game. Well, they weren't vulgar or anything like that. They were like, I mean, I guess we don't really know what they were saying, but just given the culture, I don't think it was vulgar or anything like that. And then had these chants and cheers that everybody knew. We tried to get into the motions as much as we could. But then as soon as your team was out, you just sat quietly and let the other team cheer and chant. And then you ran and got your food because it was outstanding. It was such a cool experience and vibe, and I don't know. It was a really fun way to watch baseball. For the sport that, like I said, it's not like one of my favorites, but just being around that atmosphere and how excited everybody was. Because for the most part, the Japanese people, like during the workday, they're really like kind of reserved and quiet. So to see them just
like
letting
keep
loose,
yourself to yourself. Yeah.
yeah. So to see them letting loose in a way was kind of fun. And I really enjoyed that experience. It was really kind of cool. And then we walked around the stadium, and I don't know, that was a lot of fun. So day 2, Saturday, was nuts, a long day. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to get to see Star Wars stuff, get to see some Japanese culture, with our culture mixed in how they've taken it and made it their own. It was pretty cool. So did you guys have a highlight from the first or from the second day, like panel wise? I don't know. Again, they don't get to it's unfortunate that they don't show you guys some of the stuff they show us. I mean, I get it, but it's kind of a bummer.
I really enjoyed the Andor panel. It's the one I really, really pushed myself to stay up for, because obviously it was the second panel of the day, so it was like 4 a.m. in the UK, but I was hanging on every single word. As soon as they brought all of that cast out, I knew there were going to be some fantastic questions asked. And yeah, massive credit to the interviewers for this year's celebration. Some brilliant question asking. Nothing generic, nothing standard, but just enough to get the most interesting answers out of these cast members. And I was hooked on every single word, and the love and the energy that they brought about season 2, I think made getting to watch season 2 that bit more special and exciting, because they love it, so we're gonna love it. And it was an absolute joy. Specifically that panel, I think, was my favorite.
That was exciting.
I do have to agree. I think it's been nice to see, not that like a lot of Star Wars creators and directors and actors are obviously very passionate about what they do and what they bring to Star Wars, but for Andor specifically, there's just this different level of you, like, whether you trust us or not, you're gonna love it. Like, it will pay off and you'll get it and you'll love it. And I have every faith that they know what they're doing. Like, there is nothing in Andor. It took me a long time to watch the first season of Andor, because I was like, it's not going to be my thing. I'm just not going to enjoy it, but I'm not going to hate on it. I'll just like leave it for a little bit. And then I watched it and I was like, okay, that was my mistake. I should have been there when it was dropping. Like, I was in the wrong there, and I'm happy to hold my hands out and say, like, I'm sorry, I should have been there. But now I'm here for season 2. And seeing all the hype and the discussion and just even the different concepts for it has been really, really interesting to me. It's been really nice to feel involved in a way with like a new Star Wars project, because as well, like, it is fairly relevant to a degree. So it's terrifying in a way, but it's also like, oh, they see what's going on. It's not just us living through it, surprisingly. Yeah, that was probably my highlight from day 2. Also, the Andor panel.
Yeah, it was bonkers. The writing, I mean, they definitely have a message, and anyone who thinks Star Wars isn't political has never watched Star Wars before, because I mean,
yeah,
it's political from the get-go. Day 3, kind of, always a little bit shorter day. We got the Visions panel. I know I met some people there, exchanged some cool things. Now, this panel was a little different for me. I love Visions, but they switched to Japanese for this because they bring out a bunch of the creators and the different studio people, and so everything was in Japanese. And then they had these big massive screens up on the sides. You got the main stage, you had the big screen above them, then you had 2 side screens in case they would show pictures while they were talking and things like that, and they'd show different things. I mean, they had a lot going on, and they had these translations going on. And then when it was in English, it would translate to Japanese. What I'm assuming is Japanese. And then, so for this one, they switched, but the delay was bonkers. And they'd be done talking and have moved on, and then stuff would be coming up that I like, oh, he said that with that guy. And so I don't really know what the hell's going on when it comes to Visions. I just know it looks outstanding and it looks beautiful. It was super exciting to see a bunch of the stuff, some of the characters, some of the creations. We got little clips here and there of some of the things that are to come, some of the artwork and things like that. I'm not a big anime person, but I've loved Visions, and I'm excited for it. I'm here for it. I'm super excited for it. And I actually Jack and I had a nice little adventure later on when it comes to things that have to do with Visions that we'll hold on to for a while, but we'll just say that, it kind of came full circle at that. But yeah, Visions was great. The energy was great. I'm glad that the Japanese people got to have that panel, and you could tell like the 2 hosts that were fluent and I'm assuming from there, they were more at ease. It's just kind of flowing better for them. And I think, not knowing what was being said, it flowed pretty well. But again, I cannot tell you anything that anybody said about it. I have no idea what's going on. I know we're getting extra stuff, and they brought 3 stories back. They got 6 new ones coming in, and then they're giving us Visions Presents in what's that 26? I think that's coming out. We're going to get longer formats. We're going to get like a 45. I don't know if they've even said how long, but it's really exciting to see that this Visions is kind of taking off. And who knows, it may become like its own little universe that they're going to tell stories in. And I'm here for it. I love it. And just given our panel, the Japanese influence, on Star Wars, and then get to see Star Wars influence on Japanese culture and their anime, it was just, I loved it. So it was pretty amazing. And that was kind of the highlight of day 3. Got to meet some people, got to meet Rayside. We finally met Jedi Lex. I think that was that day, or I think actually some of them maybe came on day 1. It's kind of all blurs together whenever it's all happening. And then of course they announced Los Angeles 2027, which is super exciting. So, and then, I thought it ended on a pretty positive note. I think people were more positive. I remember at Anaheim, they announced that London was going to be like, was it next year or was it 2 years? I can't remember. And the reception was pretty good. And then at Japan, or in London, when they said, oh, we're going to be in Japan, and everyone's like, wait, what? It wasn't like the best reception, because people were like, wait, we got to go to Japan now. And, but this one, the reception was pretty big. There was a large English speaking contingent at Celebration. It was really impossible for me to say. People are like, well, how many Japanese people were there? I mean, we had 125 countries represented. It was really hard for me I couldn't tell you what the Japanese versus everybody else was. Like, it would be impossible, but it was well received that it was going to be in Los Angeles. I feel like, of course, after that, everyone starts complaining, but in the moment, in the hype, that's the best thing about these two, is like all the hype. Like, people are going to complain a little bit, but when you're in those panels, like, there's just nothing else that matters. Nothing matters at all except for what's happening right in front of you. And it's exciting. I wish we could hold on to that and bottle it and force it down some people's throats, so that they could be a little bit more positive. But yeah, Celebration overall, probably my favorite Celebration. And then of course all the stuff Jack was doing. Jack got us up on the celebration stage. He got to go behind the scenes. I'm sure he'll talk a little bit about it next week when he's back. And then, we got to meet Level Up Leroy, which was really cool. We got to meet Rayside, a bunch of different content creators, some of the hosts and things like that we got photos with. So there's a lot of little things that happened too that just kind of made that experience even more. So it was a lot of fun. But Jack and I were not really together very much during Celebration because we were all over the place doing things, trying to get as much coverage as we could. And we both have our own thing too. Like he wanted to do this stuff. I wanted to do. I love panels. I don't know what it is about them. I want to be there. I want to be immersed in that energy because we're going to get that information. But you may never see some of those trailers and things that they showed us. Like there's stuff that happened in Anaheim I still have never seen. So getting to see that stuff, getting to be around that energy, listen to them talk. That's one of my favorite part of Celebration. Jack, of course, is out meeting new people, making new friends, hanging out with the Belgian prop builders, doing all that kind of stuff. And hats off to those guys as well. They do a terrific job and they're so friendly. Oh my gosh. Like we had them on our show for like 5 minutes, to talk about some things. And they're like treating us like we're part of the group, come backstage and, giving us a beverage that possibly, and then just, I don't know, it's so nice and so friendly and excited to meet us. And I mean, as much as I'm thrilled to meet them, these people that create all this stuff. So yeah, Celebration overall knocked it out of the park. Then I get to go and, see Japan and stuff like that afterwards. I didn't have that letdown right away because as soon as Sunday ended, we got on a train and headed to Osaka. So I got to keep that buzz going, buzz. And then on the plane ride home a few days later, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to go back to work. So, yeah, Celebration overall was pretty amazing. I know it might be a lame, but I have not had those positive experiences. Anaheim was terrible for me personally. And I'm not going to say it was a terrible con. Like everyone has their own adventure throughout. If you're looking on Facebook, you're on the VCN Facebook page, you saw people who are loving their life, people who are hating their life. I mean, I was miserable at Anaheim because just nothing was working out, and just kind of lost focus a little bit. London was fun because I was with people that I knew, but I still didn't get hardly any panels or anything like that, So it kind of was like, this was a little bit better, but not because of Celebration, but because of the people. And then, of course, this one, just getting to see Jack again, having my family over there, and getting to do everything we got to do, just outstanding. And I loved it. So, and those will be memories that I'll keep. When things get negative, when I'm reading negative things online, I'll just think back to those moments where I'm talking to someone brand new who loves Star Wars and just kind of try to block out all that negativity. So, but yeah.
Thank you so, so much for that. I genuinely, really, honestly enjoyed listening to that. That made me so, so happy. I know you were quite nervous before Celebration. I think I remember you being quite anxious about whether it was going to be any good, whether you were going to have a good time. And it makes me so happy to hear that you got everything out of it that you wanted to get out of it. And also massive credit to you and Jack for kind of splitting it. You were doing the panels and he was doing the floor coverage, which meant me over here in the UK, I got a full bouquet, if you would like, to work with to show everybody. I got to do all of the exclusives, all of the behind the scenes. Oh my God, this is your first look on the show floor and people haven't even come in yet. Look.
Yeah.
And
Big shout out to you, Charlie, because I remember just that WhatsApp just blowing up for, solid for like an hour plus, and then it would take a pause and then start blowing back up. And then, 5 minutes later, we'd have this new footage out on. So big shout out to you, Charlie, for staying up late, doing all that for the podcast and for the YouTube channels and stuff like that. So, because there's no way we could have done it. That last day I was trying to make that thing, and I'm like, Charlie, can you edit this for me? I can't get it done, and because my dang phone wouldn't let me do something I needed to do on there. But yeah, none of that stuff would have come out if it hadn't been for you. So we really appreciate the effort you put into it as well.
Thank you.
So we would have rather had you there with us. Don't get us wrong, but it was nice as a team, us all working together and covering things, and of course, you guys stepping up and doing that last, episode 101. So that was amazing, and so it went out so well. This will probably set me up for sadness again, like who sees? Because I came out of Chicago thinking this is the greatest thing in the world, and took a nosedive for 2 cons, and then shot back up, here at Japan. But we got plans for Los Angeles already, and things we want to try to do to make sure we maintain that level of excitement and things like that. And hopefully we'll have learned a lot of things too. So when we start getting closer to Los Angeles, we can help more people, first timers and things like that. We can help them out. Cause I think sometimes people are full of baloney when they're talking about celebration. They won't be real about some of the stuff that does and doesn't happen because they want those clicks and they want those views. But I want you to be prepared for the truth and what can and can't happen when you go to, I mean, all those people, the Hayden stuff that went sideways for people, Oscar Isaac, there is disappointment mixed in there and how you handle it. But, as we become more experienced as a group, we're going to be able to help out more people too. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Cause that'll be number 5 for me. So, and I thought with Chicago, one and done bucket list, I'm done with this. I'll never do another one. Cause it's cost whatever. And here I'm already planning for number 5. So, but yeah, I don't know. Not much else to say. I mean, I could probably talk for 4 more hours about it, but I do think we have to chat about, don't we?
Take us from. Sorry. You should take us from the minute you stepped off the plane to the minute you got back onto the plane. I would listen to that.
The Chronicles.
It'd probably be about like 8 days worth of just talking.
You like Lando's Chronicles?
Yeah.
But not as suave or as cool as Lando Calrissian.
We'll get you a cape. It's okay. We'll get you a cape.
There we go. That probably would help.
Well, I know we're ticking along for time, but I feel it's important to at least breeze past the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. I was 11 when this film came out, and I had I know. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, everyone who's listening. 94, baby. Just putting that out there. I'd watched last night. I watched Phantom.
I can beat it. I'm sorry to interrupt. I was 4 when this film came out.
Dang it, Sid.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right, now everyone feels suitably ancient. I watched The Phantom Menace when I was 9, and because I didn't have internet access in those days, because I wasn't on any there wasn't really much social media to speak of, I think, back then anyway.
No.
I didn't know that there were any other Star Wars films apart from The Phantom Menace. So I just watched The Phantom Menace for like 3 years straight. And then I found Attack of the Clones, and it carried on and it grew and whatever. So Revenge of the Sith completely passed me by until I watched it later on when I was a little bit older. What were your guys' experiences of watching Revenge of the Sith for the first time?
Go ahead, Sid.
Okay. Well, as a 4-year-old, no, I'm joking. As a 4-year-old, I was worried that Anakin Skywalker was also going to slay me through the cinema. No, I hadn't actually seen Revenge of the Sith until I want to say maybe like latest 2020, because we were on that big Star Wars binge because there was nothing else to do, obviously, and I hadn't seen it before. I'd never seen it, and in my whole heart of hearts, I was like, Phantom Menace was fine. I liked Attack of the Clones, but I don't think I'm going to like this one. And then I'll be so truthfully honest and live my truth. Hand on heart, I saw Hayden Christensen on my laptop screen and said, "Whoa!" And I was in it. I was like, okay, I'm prepared. Here we are. Little did I know I was not prepared for the fall to the dark side. I was in tears. I was in bits. This film, it changed Star Wars for me. I'd already enjoyed all of the original trilogy, and like I said, Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, but Revenge of the Sith was what really got me in there. It got his claws in, and I was in it for there on out, and now it's been a solid 5 years of,
and it has yet to let go.
Yeah, it's still there, surprisingly. I've actually grown my own little scar of Anakin's, just because I miss him so, but we get him back soon, so that's okay. yeah, it was a long time for me until I saw it, but the lasting effect it had was no different to anybody else watching it in the cinema for the first time in 2005.
I was in college at Penn State University, Big Ten school, and this is back in the day
Ooh.
before like you could buy tickets online and all this stuff. Like our theater there, I mean, this is a massive university, so I mean, you're talking like 40,000 students plus. I mean, it's more now because they some other things they brought onto campus, but the small little sleepy town of State College, the population at least doubles when the college is in session. But at the theater there, they had this is back too. Like you'd go Thursday night at 12:01 they could start showing it, right? Because it wasn't this like there was a legit. That's the reason they call it midnight showings is they were legitimate midnight showings. You got in line, you went to the theater a couple days early, you bought a ticket for whatever. I think my showing was 12:05 because every theater in the every little theater in there, every screen was showing Revenge of the Sith like 2 or 3 minutes apart. And and they had it mapped out so that as soon as one finished, I could clean it, bring it in, and it went for like the whole weekend that way. Like you could go back, and I think I went back and saw it a second time with some friends. And I can really remember enjoying it. We're dressed up a little bit, nothing like I would have done today, but just kind of having some fun with it. Really excited because I was not the biggest fan of Attack of the Clones. I didn't really, Phantom Menace was cool. But this one was like, whoa, like that battle at the end, the lights, of course, the iconic lightsaber battle between Anakin and Ewan and Obi-Wan, sorry, and just some of the stuff that happens. Now, I think being older now, I can take a look at it and having been doing this for almost 2 years, and I can see why people loved it. I never got in. It's not my favorite. I mean, I do put it up there pretty high, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And then going to see it again with Molly, it's funny because like I was telling you guys off the air, I was with this girl named Jen. She was, my college girlfriend. I thought we were getting married, and like, oh, my life is over. And then, you're here 20 years later and my life is in a place I never could have imagined. I'm with the love of my life. And it's just, and I got to share that with her. And she's like, well, this is only the second time I've ever seen it. I'm like, well, it's the second, I think it's either the second or third time I've watched it on the big screen. It's just kind of, I get why Anakin fell to the dark side. I would do the same thing for Molly, right? I would do whatever. And I think people lose the fact that I think, Sid, you're the one, you and Charlie, and I think Jessica, you guys kind of helped us see it through a different set of eyes because I'm watching it through my eyes, not understanding. He's very young. I mean, I think he's 19, between 19 and his mid 20s during that stretch. And,
he's younger than me in this film.
It's like you kind of get it. And as you get older and you mature and you kind of, you guys, I'm hats off to you two for seeing it in a way and not seeing it through your filter, but being able to see it through others and, explaining it to us in a way that's not like condescending or anything like that. But yeah, that movie is powerful, and then you watch the Clone Wars in between, which is something I would love to do. It kind of builds up, and I loved it. I love it. I love where I'm at. I loved where I was at then. I love even more where I'm at now with it and in my life. So it's such an experience to get to share that with my wife. And yeah, I loved it. Again, I get Anakin from a better perspective now that I'm with Molly too, because I'm like, yeah, I would burn this place down for her. So, I'll go and I will do what needs to be done. So I get it, Anakin. I'm behind you, brother. I get it. You find that one, you got to go get it. So awesome. But yeah, I mean, just loved it. The experience was great last night. I have not seen our theaters that packed since before COVID either. It was great to see, it sucked because there were so many people, but it was really great to see cinema being back. And because of Star Wars, that was exciting. So, yeah, really awesome. Great time. Glad I went to see it. Almost was going to well, I've seen it, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, nah, I got to go, see it on the big screen where it belongs.
I've said this a lot over the last couple of years. We are fully kind of in the prequel renaissance now. And I think that's so beautiful seeing the love for the Phantom Menace come back with such vengeance. It's so beautiful. And I I remember when I read about the kind of response to Revenge of the Sith, because obviously Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace didn't quite go down as well, was people were relatively indifferent, I think, at the time when this film came out. And now you have got everybody from older Star Wars fans, newer Star Wars fans, kids, adults, old people packing these cinemas to watch these films. And speaking of the cinema, I want to give a massive, massive thank you to Phoenix Cinema in London, who sent us a very lovely email offering us 2 tickets to go and see Revenge of the Sith at their cinema. Bearing in mind, Phoenix Cinema is one of the oldest cinemas in London, to celebrate this amazing anniversary. Unfortunately, Jack and I, and even Sydney, we were all schedules packed, busy, 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 and weren't able to go. But a very good friend of the show, who we also met at Celebration, Leroy, Level Up Leroy, very graciously went in our stead, sporting a fab Darth Vader jacket, if I do say so myself. Go and head over to our social media and check out the full reel, because it looks like he had a fantastic time. And
That
yes,
guy,
I was devastated to not be able to attend, but I'm so glad somebody got to go on our behalf.
I need to know what Leroy's doing. He looks super fit when we met him at Celebration, and then this guy has not stopped since Celebration. He came back, he did that. He also covered some other events, and he was awesome to meet. But yeah, huge thank you to Leroy for going and getting up again, like you said, Charlie. Big shout out to the Phoenix Cinema too, because that was really exciting to get that invitation from them to go do that. And it always bums me out that there's no way for me to get over there all the time. But yeah, that's exciting. And the Charlie will be holding down London here pretty soon for us.
I will, as Jack likes to keep reminding me while I tremble in fear in the corner at the level of responsibility. I'm going to super quickly go around and ask everybody if they could tell me a favourite moment from Revenge of the Sith, and then I'm going to read out some responses from some wonderful, wonderful fans and listeners, because I love to bully people to join in on this show. Jimmy, actually, no, wait, I'll go first. My favourite moment of Revenge of the Sith is when Obi-Wan is stood on the grounds of Mustafar and he looks down at Anakin and he shouts at him, "I loved you, Anakin. You were my brother." I've got tears in my eyes just saying it out loud. It makes me sob every single time. It is such a devastatingly simple line that says so much and expresses so much, and it's delivered in such a heartbreaking way at such a climax of the film that it just that has to be 100% my favorite moment, hands down. Sydney, would you dare to give me yours, please and thank you?
Mine is not so dramatic, I'm afraid. It's towards the start of the film where R2's really struggling to get the elevator to work, and Obi-Wan's like, he's getting a bit frustrated, he's getting a bit annoyed. He's like, "Will you just do the bloody thing? Can he hurry up? Is your droid stupid or what?" And Anakin's like, "Don't make fun of him. He's trying really hard. Don't be horrible to him." And it just makes me so happy. Anakin Skywalker said droid rights, and I'm fully 100% behind him. He was like, "Don't bully my little friend. Don't do that. He can do 100 times the things you can do, and I bet he could do them way quicker than you could do, fool." And I just really appreciated it. I feel like it must have been improvised or something, because it was just too good of a characterization for those two characters to interact like that. That's my favorite part. Jimmy, what is your number one Revenge?
I have to say that it's changed over the years. Of course, you love the battles. You love it. "I loved you, Anakin," all those things. And Yoda talking to Obi-Wan right before he leaves. And it's like, "Oh, Master Qui-Gon." And knowing what that means now, like, I think in 2005, you see that, you're like, okay, like that. I don't think that registers with anyone. It didn't register with me. And then he's like, "Oh, something I got to tell you." And, he talks about it and basically how we're going to do this whole Force Ghost thing and explains that. That was really clever. People don't always give George all the credit. I mean, he does have this active imagination. I know he retcons things and does different stuff like that, but that was really clever to put that in there. And just kind of that scene's like 15 seconds maybe or whatever it is, but I don't know why. Like last night I had a really big reaction to it. You get this big, massive battle, everyone's dying, and Padme and all these, all these things are happening. And then just off to the side a little bit, it's like, hey, by the way, I need to teach you something before you leave. And then you just think about the ramifications of what that's going to mean for the world of Star Wars, and the stuff that we're going to find in the Clone Wars, and we're going to get to see, explaining how things happen in the original trilogy and all that stuff. I thought I loved it. I just thought that was like really well done. And because I can't remember, when did Clone Wars come out, the animated series, like
It was
2014, 13.
Oh God, no! It was when I was a kid. It was like maybe 2008 onwards.
Yeah, so I mean,
and
he
then
did this
finished
before.
in 2020.
Yeah, so they did that before he had these plans for, I mean, maybe he had these plans already, but just to slip that in there, and it kind of caught me off guard, the reaction I had to it. So I'm going to say that was my favorite moment. That and how shredded was Hayden Christensen. No wonder Natalie Portman and him dated, right? He gets out there. I'm like, damn, dude, what's your workout program? So I get it, girls. I get it.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for the validation. Thank you.
Hey, I understand.
As long as somebody understands, then that's okay.
We can all appreciate the glory that is Hayden Christensen. Now, we had some wonderfully enthusiastic responses from fans and listeners, and there seems to be quite a bit of a theme with these replies, which I really enjoyed. First up, we had my fave, my bestie, Kevin Artie Darth, who will reply in the comment box on Instagram and then immediately DM me with like 3 paragraphs. And I love it. I read all of it. I love it every single time. He said, just watched the film in the cinema, which was my first time in over a decade. The long gap was probably for the best, as I've watched it so many times on DVD. Watching the film today really hit different for so many reasons. For example, back then, during the Order 66 sequence, I basically forced myself to cry. This time happened naturally. We love it. We love it. Be in touch with your feelings. Apart from that, I'm really happy that the film has a much stronger following than it did back then. This is what I mean. The prequel renaissance is in full swing, and I'm living for it. We had Sam13 TV. We love you, Sam. We love you, Sam. Said, my favourite is the bit between the Lucasfilm logo and when the end credits roll.
It's completely valid. I think that might be my favourite bit as well.
That's a great favorite moment. Excellent. Well done, Sam13.
Thank you, Sam. Jodie Does Cos said the fight scene between Obi-Wan and Anakin on Mustafar, 100%. Absolutely iconic. Some of the most insane fight choreography I think I've ever seen on screen. Best buddies at All Sabers said the duel. Which duel? I don't know. The duel.
There's only, but when people are talking about Revenge of the Sith, there's a few, and then there's the duel. Everyone knows. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows.
Sorry, I didn't say that properly. The duel. There we go.
There you go.
The duel. Yeah.
Now we know. Dylan Does Cosplay said, if you are not with me, you are my enemy. What a line. What a line. Ghostplay Please Snake also said another line. He said, hello there. Iconic, classic. So good. Crossbones Cosplay said the opening scene after the crawl, pounding drums as the Venator comes into view over Coruscant. What a way to start a film. Like, watching it on my telly was one thing. I can imagine listening to that in the cinema with the bass of the speakers and the surround sound. 10 out of 10. We had Crimson Cosplayers with Obi-Wan's wittiness, specifically another happy landing.
That is one of my favorites. Obi-Wan kicks up the sass to a new level in this film, and it
He's
makes
a sass
me
master, isn't he?
Stupidly happy. Yeah.
And then the cape drop when he
How many capes did he lose in this movie, though? He loses a lot of capes.
I would hazard a guess at least like 4, maybe a minimum of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
just so dramatic.
I've derobed.
We had a punk rock Brandon 99 saying Order 66, which I will just about accept. Master Skywalker.
I was about to say, would you like to hear my impression of the young Jedi? Got to really get into it. Sorry, I'm getting into character. I'm 4 years old. Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
I'm gonna
What you're going to do, young child, is die a horrible death, I'm afraid.
Die a horrible death.
That's what you're going to do.
Mr. Tapduck said, seeing the opening shot on the big screen, moving into that great big excited space fight, pure cinema. I think if there's ever a phrase to sum up Revenge of the Sith, it is pure cinema. Absolutely
Absolute
10 out of
cinema.
10. Absolute cinema. Jangar Cosplay said the opening scene, the drums of war, that's where the fun begins. Yes, I love to see it. Grey Fox Gaz, this one broke my heart a little bit, guys. He said, when Obi-Wan and Annie say, may the force be with you to each other for the last time. Oh, stick the knife in and twist, my friend, why don't you?
Ouch, Gray Fox Gads. That hurts. That's a good one.
It's a Lana. Hi, Lana. Love you. It's obvious, but Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight sequence, it is just a chef's kiss. And finally, we have Simon again. Cardboard Cutout Cosplay said the opening space battle and the Obi-Wan versus Anakin saber fight has great music as well. Love to see it. There's some brilliant soundtracks in Revenge of the Sith. Thank you, as always, to every single person who replied to my story, messaged me, gave me many, many info dumps and great detail about why they love this film so much. We love it. I'm so glad people have been able to see it in the cinemas. What an experience.
Soon it'll be time for The Force Awakens.
It's 10 years.
It's 10 years this year.
Right? Like,
yeah, this December is 10 years.
Bonkers.
That's insane.
You know,
Stop it
I'm
right
going to be
now.
there first in line as soon as The Last Jedi gets re-released. I'm there.
Yep.
It's me. I'm running it. It's just for me. That's what I'm
I'll be
excited
first
for
in line
next.
for Force Awakens. You'll be there for The Last Jedi, and then you and I can be hand in hand for Rise of Skywalker, yeah? Nice.
It's a day.
It's a day. Well, after such a wonderfully fun show, firstly, Jimmy, we have missed you terribly. Whilst it was lovely having the show all to ourselves, no boys allowed, I missed you and Jack. I really did. I really, really did. Jack, we will see you soon. And thank you, Sydney, for joining us tonight on such short notice.
Yes, very short.
Thank
You're
you
so very
again.
welcome.
We love to have you. We really, really do. Thank you again to all of our amazing listeners and their interaction, comments, and support. Your input is what keeps this show incredible. And don't forget, if you want your voice heard, then DM us on our socials, send us a voice note, or send us an email at exploretheforce@gmail.com.
Yes, and remember to like this episode, share it with your Star Wars friends and family. To follow us all on our social media platforms, all you have to do is search Explore the Force with all one word. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Just going to give a big shout out to James. You know who you are. Hope you recover quickly, buddy. We'll see you next week, Jack. You've been listening or watching Explore the Force, and we have spoken. We'll see you guys next week.
Close your eyes. Feel it.
I am a Senate.
As wise as Master Yoda, as powerful as Master Windu.
They'll do their job well. I'll guarantee that.
I am going to end this once and for all.
You are the chosen one!